Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to the Suffolk Non-League Show. We are live once again across YouTube, across Facebook, and across Twitter. Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing amazingly well on this Monday evening. Just looking outside, it is horrible. It is grim. There is no need for you to be outside. The only place for you to be this evening is here. The live show is back, and once again, I'm joined by my friend and co-host Adam. How are you doing this evening? You well, mate?
Yeah, very good. Hello, welcome back to everyone joining us. Welcome to all the newcomers that are in today. Give us a wave or something in the comments
Yes,
if you're new here for the first time. Busy week of football for us. I've done 3 games this week.
Yes, you have. You've done more games than me. You've done more games than me for a change.
I know, absolutely loving that for once. So been lots of action going on Twitter as well. Lots of salty DeeJam fans after Berry's win on Saturday. Twitter was an absolute mess after that. So funny though. So I couldn't help but laugh at the whole situation.
Definitely.
So one fan in particular sort of just made it worse and worse for DeeJam, I think. If anyone was there and wants to pile in on the fun that was had, then join in.
Definitely. But yes, hello everyone. I can see you all piling in on the chat. I'll bring your comments up in a few moments, but as normal, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Just want to say, first of all, a massive thank you to our 2 sponsors. You can see them directly below us. You've got GBS and you have got Starling and Lock. For both of those companies, the details are live down, in the description. If you click open either on YouTube, Facebook or Twitter, the link for both of those are in the description. GBS are a family-run construction company in Ipswich, operating nationwide with over 30 years' experience, offering fire protection, diamond drilling, commercial building, health and safety, and asbestos removal. And Starling and Lock is a one-man electrical brand across Suffolk, which offer domestic work and certificates for people buying and selling homes. They have played a massive role this week, Adam, in terms of what they've been able to allow us to do. The 2 things that have come on board as a result of the fact that we've got our sponsors here is that we have now been able to pay for this software for the entire year, which is saving us a massive amount compared to paying monthly. So, that in itself is just absolutely fantastic. And this evening, the moment we stop recording this, or going live rather, myself and Adam are going to sit down and get the podcast platforms up and running for the live show. So we will be promoting that throughout the week. We're going to sit down and get that done and get that all sorted, so you'll be able to listen to this back on any podcast platform. So if there is a point where you need to go for whatever reason and you want to catch up on it, but you can't watch it, you can download it. We'll put all of those links later on throughout the evening, or throughout the week rather. So we'll get all of that sorted out. But that is all down to these guys, GBS and Starling and Lock. So massive thank you to those 2. Again, we have to pay a thank you as well to all of our partner clubs. All of those guys are linked, are on the page right there. If you want to get involved and be a partner club on the channel, all you have to do is contact Adam directly on Twitter. You can see his handle in the description there. Just make sure you go over and message him, and you can be a partner of the program. And many of those clubs have been retweeting and sending out messages this evening and throughout the day promoting the show. So we really appreciate what it is that you guys do. And Adam, I believe a few people have got signed up to some programs as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we're in the this week. The program that we've added will be the Met Police one.
Nice
partner club. So something a little bit different, which is really good. But Colin at Follow the Trawler is heavily involved there, and he's said that he'll take our advert on, and that will be sort of our next reach outwards. So that's really big for us. So this will get updated next week, adding them on as a partner club. So really good. Like any like advertising we can do to get out there. I know, like, it's like, it can seem like a small thing. These clubs are really important to us. Those, like, we've literally doubled our viewership since these clubs have helped us out by retweeting and stuff. So, like, massive kudos to these people.
Yeah, we really, really appreciate it. And for the guys over on Patreon and Ko-fi who continue to support the channel, I want to say a massive, massive thank you. Wombat V has increased his Patreon membership, which is absolutely fantastic. I really appreciate that, my man. And we have a new patron in the way of Colin Weston. So again, Colin, massive thank you for helping to continue growing the channel. We really appreciate it. Again, as a reminder, Patreon is a monthly amount that you can put towards the channel. A Ko-fi is a one-off payment. So if you just want to put the price of a coffee towards the show, any little amount really, really does go a long way. Right, let's get our ugly mugs back up on the screen and let's say hello to all of you guys who are in the chat. You're absolutely flying in. Ryan Johnson, evening, lads. Ryan, were you at the game on Saturday? Talk to us about it, mate. What happened? It sounds like absolute chaos, but I'd love to get your thoughts, Ryan. So if you were there, let me know. I would be really interested to hear what you've got to say on that one. Follow the trawler. How do, guys? Corley H, evening all. Marketmen Media, good evening, lads. Good evening. Josh Mayhew, the absolute king and maestro. What an unbelievable performance from the big man.
I'm still dreaming about that volley at Whitton, honestly.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't seen the highlights from that, go back on the channel after this. Don't go now. Go after this and go and watch those highlights because, yeah, absolutely banging performance. Paul Monroe was evening, lads. Evening, boys. Hope you're doing really well. Alex is in the chat as normal. Evening, Japs. Evening, mate. Hope you're doing well. Are you boys still wet from Saturday? Christ, that was horrible, weren't it? It was. You described it perfectly on Saturday, the conditions. And I think anyone who was involved at a game will know across Suffolk what it was like. 1 minute it's torrential rain, and the next minute you could take your jacket off and you could be sunbathing. It's like you were at a beach. It was ridiculous.
Really, really silly Saturday. But I didn't actually realise, but there were parts in your video where the rain was so hard, the camera was focusing on the rain rather than the players.
Yes, I know.
Unbelievable.
I know.
So, and not all games managed to finish on Saturday, so.
Very true. We were one of the lucky ones that our game was all right in the end. Let's put it that way. OG Sanch, hello. Hope you're doing well, Maz. Match Day Marketing, evening, gents. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Good to see you in the chat. Ben Moore, evening, lads. Hope you're both well. Currently watching the Bradford versus Harrogate, but got to watch this. Thank you so much. We appreciate that, my man.
No worries, mate.
Tony Stone, evening, lads. Hope you're well. Irvin is in the house as well. Bourneville, I'm not going to put your comment up on the screen. It's far too early for that kind of chat. Ryan Johnson, salty is an understatement. I'm guessing you're referring to the DeeJam lads on the weekend. Dan Barnard, Tony's in the house. He certainly is. Alex, I will get the link over to you in a moment, my friend. James Bloomfield, absolute legend. Thank you once again for joining us, mate. Get involved in the chat tonight, James. That's all I'm going to say. Get involved in the chat. I don't want to be talking to you in a couple of hours' time where you've been quiet again. Get involved in the chat. Alex, evening, mate. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, we both hope Tony is all right. Luke Riley, here we go. In from 6 aside in time for this week. That is commitment.
Just this, yeah. This is
absolutely. It. Because normally from Luke we get an hour in. Have I missed much?
Exactly. This is the thing. People are now finishing their plans and come and see us all. Like get involved in the chat together. Like last week, part of the reasons for me why last week stood out is because the chat was its own little social room, and that made it a bit easier for us to actually pick things off of as well. Yeah. So if you've got an opinion on what someone else says, don't be afraid to pile in as long as we all play nice.
Definitely. Michael Crowfer, evening, lads, evening, mate. And his partner in crime, Connor, is also in the chat as well. Happy days. Hopefully, Acast will be one of the podcast providers. I'm pretty sure it is. Adam is shaking his head already.
It does work with Acast.
Definitely. And Joe Simpson, great to see the hard work is starting to pay off. Gents, you deserve it. Massive thank you. Bow. I would bow even more, but you'll see the receding part of my hair, so I'm not going to bother. But we really appreciate that. Up the Blue Sox. On there as well. Evening from Maverick UK. Stuart Spreadbridge, evening, lads. Marketing Media, are you off to the final tomorrow?
I forgot it was on.
Yeah, I have to admit, so did I.
I only realised today when something came up. We do have a free evening tomorrow, but I'm not sure what's going to happen yet.
No, I'm a bit on the fence about tomorrow, about where or what I exactly do, but if we make a decision, we'll decide. We'll let you know. But go on, Adam.
I was going to say, the thing is, if we go tomorrow, we definitely won't go to the away leg anyway. And then I'm a bit like, is there any point? Or the away leg, the second leg.
Yeah.
And if you go to a final, I'd want to watch both legs.
I think the thing for me, and I've said it online, and all jesting aside, obviously, Ipswich Wanderers won the cup the other on Tuesday, and congratulations to those guys. By the sounds of things, it really wasn't the best of games, but a cup final was a cup final, and they still won. So massive congratulations to those guys. But I think for me to be able to sit here and say, it shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening. It's not right. It's not right. And then for me to turn up and go, oh, hello, guys. How are you doing? I'm really looking forward to tonight. It just doesn't, do you know what I mean? It's not real. It's not real. And that's just not me. I can't.
Think we can film a game and say that we're not looking forward to it when we go to it and see how we feel at the end of it. There's nothing
rubbish. This is rubbish. I don't want to be here.
There's nothing wrong with that, because the part of the match day experience is, what is your opinion of what you've seen?
True.
As long as you're not a mood hoover about it, I think you can do it in the right way.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll make a decision after the game. MV Videos. Hello, guys. Hello, mate. Hope you're doing well. Fox in the Box is here. Evening, chaps. Hope you're all right. Luke gives evening, guys. Jamie. Hello. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I love this. New to the channel, loving the content, Edinburgh based.
This might seem a little bit off piece then for you tonight, Ian. Do join in if you've got any opinions on the topics. I don't know how you'll find it when we get down to furlough none div free conversation. Sorry, SIL div free rather.
I knew what you meant. The chat knew what you meant as well. It's absolutely fine. But yeah. For it. We've got the hellos out of the way. Adam, let's get on to the first talking point this evening. We've got quite a few topics that we want to go through. This is mainly going to be led by Adam, a lot of these things, because a lot of the topics were suggested by people to you, and you've also come up with a couple of things yourself on here as well. But I suppose the big one that we have to kind of get out of the way first of all is lockdown and football update from Boris. Is there one? I don't know if anybody's been checking in over the news over the past 24 hours, but we do have a bit of good news, Adam, in terms of the lockdown. Although
the best news we could have wished for.
Yeah, I think although as a country, we're going from what was back in March, the 5-tier, whether or not we can get back to some sort of normality, and now we're going to a 3-tier, which I'm not really sure what the point of a 3-tier is. But from a football perspective, business as normal.
Absolutely.
Which is great. How do you feel about it?
Well, the only thing is that local authorities are going to have some standing as to whether or not fans can come to games. Yeah. Now, before we all pile in on the comments, yes, we know very well what local authorities are like and their opinion to COVID. So let's be honest. There are likely to be some local playing fields where our SIL teams play, which actually may get basically cordoned off. So, I think we're going to have to roll with it a little bit. Yeah. But we're also going to need to keep following any guidance, however silly we see it as being, that's thrown away, to make sure that we can keep going to football and people involved in football can keep participating in it as well. For everyone's sake and for everyone's sanity, because right now I think that without football going on, you don't really have an opportunity to get out much and do too much, do you?
No, I have to admit, this for me, us talking like this and us having the show and and that option available and going to football matches is pretty much the only thing that's getting me out and about at the moment. We had a family day on Sunday, which was lovely, but other than that, not really doing a massive amount with my life, to be honest, because everything else has pretty much been put on hold. Any other type of activity that you want to do, you can't do, which is, which obviously from a football perspective, with it being outdoors, is one of the main, features and, benefits of us, what we do at non-league, is that we are able to continue and we are allowed to have spectators in, which is great.
Yeah, that's it. I think Luke has just put something in the chat. Clubs, players, spectators need to follow rules regardless, so that we can keep going, with a please on that. This is one of my pet peeves about it, and I think this is one of the things that we need to link most things in with tonight. Something I felt quite guilty about that we spoke about last week is I encouraged the use of social media to a bigger extent than what we're doing at the moment. And then this week, I actually saw quite a bit more on social media from clubs and videos and stuff. But then there was loads of stuff again, which was just like an absolute joke. Some clubs that weren't in this area, but like, end of the game, everyone taking their shirts off, hugging with the crowd, then going in the dressing room, all chanting round in circles and like just disregarding every rule that's been put out for us.
Right.
I just feel like there's some nerve to be able to put it on social media and not fear a repercussion. Like there's at no point am I going to start naming clubs that are doing stuff that is clearly going to get us in trouble. But at the same time, if anyone watches it from the FA, from like local governance or stuff, we're not really going to have a leg to stand on to keep it going. And all these like celebration videos, like and everything else, I get you to celebrate a big moment in football, especially with like it just being the FA Vars. And I know that you've all been on a football pitch for a while, so I feel really awful and contentious even bringing it up. It makes me feel quite awkward talking about it. But I'd rather we're filmed celebrating distanced in sixes with masks on and football can carry on than 18 of us going in, some with shirts on, some not, all running around hugging each other, and then someone comes in and says, do you know what, if this is your example of what we're doing, let's bin it.
Yeah, definitely. Follow the Trawler has got involved in that in the comments section. Saying, I agree with Luke. I was about to say, as a volunteer at the Met, as you guys know, so much effort is going on behind the scenes to try and make things safe, but it does feel like an uphill battle sometimes. Look, we want people to be active on social media. We want that kind of, we want to see more from our clubs at a local level because now is the right time to be promoting it and talking about it when other football is not available. But as you quite rightly say, there are means and ways about going about this, and that kind of side of it is, as I said, all it takes is for one MP to see that, bring it up in the House of Commons or bring it up in a meeting, and they go, do you know what? I'm not having that. Do you know what I mean?
That's the problem. Like
it snowballs.
Yeah, it does. It does. But on the other side, it does make us sit. For the people to be speaking out about it, I think it just makes me feel like the boring one. Like, why are you not enjoying football now it's back? But it's not. I don't know. It's not meant in that way. It's kind of meant in the most positive way possible to reinforce us to keep going.
Yeah.
I think like getting people to stand in groups of 6 and stuff like that with the spacing between. I've been to a ground this week where it was all sprayed out. Everything was great, but it still ended up all huddled up together. Maybe not in clusters of 6, but maybe in one big long line. I don't know how that works, because when you're side by side, you're not in a cluster and a huddle of 6. I only arrived as a 2. I don't really see a problem with that. But I've also been to and seen grounds where there's a lot of people all huddled round, and I've had quite blunt conversations with people on Twitter where it's just an absolute joke.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Let's bring a few more of your comments up on the screen here. The real deal, what a name. Suffolk FA are also felt adamant for a game to be played despite a positive test. I don't know if I've personally seen that, because for me, we seem to be cancelling games at a rate of knots.
There was a big one, wasn't there? There was a huge argument that broke out in the Southern League, and I cannot remember what team. Dan will know all about it because I was speaking to him about it, where they told the manager to sign other players on and play the game, get it done, despite there being positive tests in the camp. And eventually it got called off, but the FA had told them to play it.
Yeah, definitely. Tony said, too many clubs and officials are not taking guidelines seriously. Our ref Saturday put his hand on a player's back every time we spoke to him. Physio's coming on the pitch without masks and gloves too. James Bloomfield, there we go. There he is. He's in the chat. Adam, your phrase mood hoover is hilarious. Bourneville United reserves. I think the comment section shows how fed up everyone is of talking about it. Unfortunately, as much as we don't want to be talking about it, unfortunately, if we don't, and people continue to do the stuff that they are doing on social media, as I said, it doesn't take an awful lot at the moment for things to just be cancelled. And it's not. Do you know what I mean? That's my biggest concern, because we all want football to continue, but if people continue to do things that are going to be stupid online, it's going to have a massive effect and a knock on for everybody else in the game. And that I agree. I don't want to be talking about it. Quite frankly, I was sitting there watching Boris earlier on, and I was just like, this is the same old rubbish that I heard 3 or 4 weeks ago. What am I doing sitting here watching and listening to this?
There's a few things.
That's the reality of the world we're living in. Do you know what I mean?
There's a few things that, like, there's post that you're celebrating a win, but don't do it as a video of your team on the minibus all singing songs together and no one wearing a mask on the bus. So you can do things without showing blatant disregard.
Yeah.
And like, maybe everyone is bored of talking about it, but I think I think we need to show balance in the fact that last week we're telling everyone to pile on social media, and then I'm quite happy to hold my hands up and say, do you know what? There's something that we should think about whilst we're doing so. Yeah, because I didn't do it last week, and I think that was a big miss on my part.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's get Alex in on this conversation. He's been waiting in the green room very, very patiently. Let's bring him up onto the screen. Big man, how you doing? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad. What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on this?
Sensible. Be sensible about it. I'm not being funny. There's got to be people that are looking at these before they're being posted and stuff like that and go, right, that's probably not going to look right if I put that on there now. At the end of the day, we all want to be playing football. We all want to be turning up on a Saturday and having a game, and you know, we're trying to all follow the rules as much as possible. And you know, I was the same earlier. I'm sitting there looking at Boris going, right, is he going to mention about football? Is he going to turn around and go, right, we're going to be stopping all, you know, football games again and stuff like that?
I was waiting for it. I was panicking. Yeah. I'm not going to lie.
You do. You sit there, and every time you hear an announcement, like, oh, there's going to be an announcement tonight, you're sitting there going, is he going to turn around and put a stop to it? Personally, I think he probably will eventually, because just the way that it's going. I hope not, but I think personally it will. So while we've got it, let's not give them an excuse to. Let's abide by the rules, keep to what we're supposed to do. And if it's advertising that those rules are not going ahead, people just need to be thinking sensibly. Everyone wants to celebrate a win and stuff like that. But it's true what Tony turned around and said. You know, it's like celebrations. Keep the celebrations to minimal. I know everyone wants to celebrate, but keep it to a minimal. Still allowed to do the old fist pumps and the arms and everything like that. Just keep to that.
Yeah, definitely. Maverick on here says null and void season #2. I really hope not. I want to just get to an end of a season. Do you know what I mean?
That's actually being discussed, and I think we might be able to have a conversation about this next week. That they're waiting to find out. There's going to be a date settled, so they're going to decide how the season is going to be ended and at what point.
Yeah.
So if anything does go sort of tits up as such, then they're going to have to work out how we're going to sort it.
It's very much in people's minds at the moment, because I don't know if you've obviously looked at the fixtures in the future. You know, obviously I've got to look at what games I've got coming up and stuff like that. And there's very minimal games that have been put out at the moment.
Yeah, I think it goes up to November, doesn't it? I think it's the end of November, and beyond that, there's not really a huge amount, because I was wondering what days to book off in December, because I had loads of holiday left this year, and I was thinking, right, let's get some midweek games in. Let's have a look at what we can do. And there's nothing. I've got no information at all to go by.
Well, as I say, I've been looking at it, and it's because we've got quite a big gap in our fixture schedule, and I'm looking at it, and I'm going, and there's going to be a lot of games at the end of the season as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
a lot of fixtures to cram in already.
Everything's just uncertain.
Yeah,
but just carry it on
definitely.
as normal. Carry it on as normal, and then if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. We're already prepared then, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely.
For me, I would hope that there isn't whatever this does lead to doesn't end up in null and void season number 2. It results in a pause, and actually we just decide to let's actually get this season through and not go through all that palaver again. Because the problem is there's the massive restructure, and I'd rather, because of the big restructure happening above furlough none around that period, I'd rather see this played out properly rather than a restructure happen on the basis of points per game.
Yeah, definitely. Maverick UK SIL are waiting for cup fixtures to play out before scheduling league games. It has been communicated up on there. That's fair enough. I've been looking more furlough none because obviously they tend to be the midweek games if there are.
5 fixture dates for midweek this season. They've ballsed that up as well, to be honest.
There you go, Alex. Been good chatting to you. We will get you back later on in the show, my man. We will. We will get you back up on the screen. All right. So, Adam, next topic of discussion. We have got the fact that Top Flight Games are now charging $14.95 to watch on TV or on demand. I think it's you have to. I'm not entirely sure they fall into
like an office event, isn't it?
Yeah, this is it. I put on there, now is the time to strike. And what I mean by that is by us at non-league level going at this and saying, right, enough is enough. Stop watching that stuff. It doesn't mean anything. Come down to non-league football where the real football is. I don't really think anything else needs to be said. Do you know what I mean? This is now our time. If we are going to be doing something about this and we want to get a bigger audience in, now is the time for people across the social medias and across what they're doing at clubs to really, really go at this and really try and make a bit of a fist of it, because this has got a lot of people angry. And I think this is potentially a tipping point where people just go, right, that's it. I'm done. I'm wiping my hands with it. I'm walking away.
Yeah, I think it is like a tipping point for a lot of people. And there was the argument, like, you know, why are you moaning? You pay £35 to get in on the door. It's not really the same paying £15 to sit on your couch to watch football. I don't actually like watching football on telly. I find it terribly boring.
Depends on.
I don't enjoy it at all. Like it's hard work. Like I don't know. Like it's just. I end up just like doing something else at the same time and then lose track of the game and inevitably miss the goals. So paying £15 for the benefit of watching 90 minutes, it's just unnecessarily. You can get so much more at non-league. I don't even know what level of football you'd have to pay. You'd have to go to pay £15 to get in, but it'd be fairly high up, I think. The big thing with it all is that for me, you can take 2 people for £14.95. And that's one of the things where I think clubs should start to market it on, where like you can get 2 people in the door for the price of one of those games, and then you can start to grow your audience base out. And clubs could be quite smart, even if their price is more than that. Like if they could do, like, they're allowed 10 fixture promotions, ticket promotions a year. In the coming weeks, whilst this is a hot topic, they could do, you know, 2 people for £15.
Yeah.
You know, step 3, definitely.
Yeah, step 3, step 4.
Yeah, like to try and get people in and to try and start showing that there's so much more to football than crowd noise that's synthetic, commentators, VAR, handballs that aren't handballs, like refs that do the job on a screen. Do you know, annoying commentators? How many more things do you want to list that just annoy you? And then you've got to pay £15 for the privilege. Yeah,
this is it. Born Valley United Reserves said $14.95 will be a decent price per month to watch your team's games, let alone per game on there. And Matchday Marketing, this has obviously been up on the screen for a while. I only tweeted this out yesterday, but there is no better time to attract supporters to your club. I think as I said, as we talked about last week, I think we are getting there. I think things will. We are slightly improving and stuff like that, but I think we've still got a bit of a way to go in that respect. So
one of the things on that is that a lot of step 5 and below, where season tickets are sold, You could get a season ticket for the price of 6 matches of your club broadcast on the telly, and you'd be out with mates. You'd be out in the open. You'd see actual football. You could enjoy it as you would any other time.
Yeah.
Just clubs have got to come up with something that hooks people in and really reels them in. And I don't doubt that with non-league football, I think the standard and the social aspect is good enough that when you've got someone through the door twice, they'll probably keep coming.
Yeah. I have to admit, it didn't take a huge amount of for me to get hooked. My situation, I had a season ticket for Norwich for 10 plus years. Went for a long time and just got fed up. I didn't enjoy going to the games anymore. Went to watch a couple of Stowe games, then went to watch Stowe Falcons, then went to watch Sporting, and that was it. That's all it took. For the community to kind of, to get us hooks in you, and that's it. You are part of the community, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't take a huge amount on there. Got Portman Rovers FC saying it could be dangerous though to encourage fans to non-league games. Surely the government would look at banning it altogether if the infection rate keeps rising and attendances are larger.
They've given us caps. I can't see a problem with it. As long as you stick within your 300 or your 200 or whatever I can't remember what the cap is at step 6. If you kept within those limits and did the ticketing right, I do get the point. And I think with respect, I don't think you're going to get 500 round an SIL pitch. Yeah. Although, do you know what? It doesn't cost anything to go to, and you could probably take a couple of tinnies and sit down and actually enjoy it. You make what you will out of it, but you could have a good afternoon if you do it right.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. Great shout. Can't beat a Saturday afternoon or a midweek game under the lights. Watching proper football with a pie and a pint. Non-league football is the way forward, says Lou Craft. Connor Ellis says, watching Premier League doesn't interest me one bit. I grew up watching non-league football and will continue to watch non-league football. Matchday Marketing, great shows like this only help raise the profile of non-league football scene. Appreciate that. That's very nice words for you. Really appreciate that. And Ryan Owens says, why don't non-league clubs run a streaming service themselves and make some money?
Not allowed. I requested to do it. I actually had the kit to do it last season to stream.
Really?
Game and submitted it to the FA and they denied it. You can't stream 3 o'clock kickoffs.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Why? Did they give any reason at all?
It's in some broadcasting law thing. I have no idea what it was within it. But yeah, I had the gear so that I'd be able to broadcast games back to the clubhouse live. So when you go away, you could broadcast the game back.
Yeah.
And I had the full rig to do it, but it's not possible. Like I could still attach it, so we could do like a match day experience and broadcast it live, the whole game at the same time via the software. So there is room for the channel to grow with those things because it's set up. There is no ongoing cost for it. But yeah, just so you're aware, Ryan, it's literally something the FA have said no to in the past. They've declined it.
Do you know what? I'm just throwing a curve. Do you know what level that goes down to?
Well, this was at step 5, so I don't think they'd really know at SIL level, would they? Like, there's plenty of See, Collins just put in there 3 o'clock blackout is all levels.
Wow, there you go.
So
well, SIL kicks off at 2:30 and 2 o'clock, so
yeah. Let's
go for it, SIL. Come on, boys.
No, we did say that. We said that because as soon as you got an evening kickoff, we could do it.
Yeah.
And that was actually discussed, but it's the fact that those 3 o'clock kickoffs, what people want to watch.
Interesting. And the final talking point that people did want us to go through in a bit of detail tonight is the Project Big Picture. It's caused a lot of controversy at the top of the game. It looks as if it's a way of the bigger clubs just dominating football. And it's going to have a bit of a knockdown effect as you go down the leagues and stuff like that. It looks to me that they're trying to shorten the number of teams that are in the Premier League down from 20 to 18. Championship, League 1, League 2 don't get changed, but 2 teams are going to drop into non-league football if it goes ahead. So there's a few change. There's a few changes as well. They're going to be removing the League Cup. They're going to be removing the Community Shield from fixtures. All in all, what they're trying to do is say, right, let's reduce the number of fixtures that the top 6 teams play so that they can play more Champions League football. That's the bigger picture of it. It's supposed to be helping the national team, which, quite frankly, is a load of rubbish. It's not going to. You're subsidising one set of fixtures for another, so that's not going to make any difference in terms of freshness and all that kind of stuff like that. If you're just going to chuck all of your big players into the Champions League, but what does this mean for non-league football? For me, if it does happen, and it is something that goes ahead, that is only going to be something that's positive for our game. Because again, it's then pushing people away from the top football down to our level. Because so many people are just going to be like, I can't do this anymore. You know what I mean? There's only a certain amount of teams who are going to benefit this, and the rest of the football league is just going to be absolutely screwed over.
So some of it's ridiculous. Though. They want the women's football to be separate from the FA. If you go really granular into the things that they've announced, it is utterly ridiculous. But I do think this would be proper nail in the coffin stuff. This is like the Big Six saying we want to make the decisions. We want to be the Super League of clubs. Everyone else can be the little fish in the pond that swim around us. We'll choose when we gobble you up and kick you out. I don't get it. Don't get it at all.
Well, I think Vaughan Vale United Reserves, I said, it will never get the go ahead. I'm not too sure. I know West Ham have come out today and said that they are not in favour of it because they are one of the top teams that have been there for a certain amount of time who are going to be one of the people that can make the big decisions and vote on certain things, because there's going to be a whole new voting structure around it as well. And they've come out and said that they're not in favour of it. But money talks at the top level of the game, and all it takes is for a certain amount of people to be persuaded, and that's it. But as I said, from our perspective, from a non-league perspective, I think it's brilliant. Alex has said on here, announcing the possibility of this, and the $14.95 is perfect for non-league football. If people are done with the money and the business factor of the Premier League, get down to your local club. That's the perfect message in a nutshell for me. That's literally, that is your selling point. For every non-league club watching this, for every person who's involved at a club, that's your tagline right there.
You can even keep having your away days and everything else, and you'd probably still get close to the 15 quid for some of them locally. Do you know what I mean? There's so many things that you can do with 15 quid and still get your ticket within the price with non-league. I think clubs need to get a little bit smarter, because I think people are not going to really bother going in the bars. And it's buy a ticket and have room for a pint as well. All right, I know loads of people like a beer, but let's not keep encouraging drinking. Let's think about how else people can spend that money. What's the more universal product that people might go for that's going to be easier to access, where you don't have to sit down out of view of the ground now because of the way things are? How much more stuff can you get, and what can you do with that money? Because people are going to come with more than 7 quid in their pocket.
Alex has said he's just copyrighted that. Love it. They come up with different ideas every now and then, and again on restructuring European football in the Premier League, and it never gets to go ahead. No, I probably do agree with that. Alex has just put something in our private chat on here. I'm going to bring Alex back into the conversation just so he can elaborate on this point. You talk about on there, buy an adult ticket, get kids in for free. Elaborate on that one.
Youth, it starts as a lot of people that fell in love with football when they went as a kid, when they went with their dad, when they went with their uncle, when they went with their granddad. Do you know what I mean? So maybe non-league should latch onto that and get the youth starting to come down and watching non-league football instead of the youth watching, Premier League games and looking at all the money and stuff like that, where they can come along to a non-league game and see that it's not about that. It's about football. It's about turning up on a Saturday afternoon and they're playing with their mates and getting muddy and getting dirty and having a great time at football. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think football, though, like, and I'm not sure, again, like, this is something that'd be interesting what the chat think. For a lot of young people, I think football is Premier League and FIFA.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's much more depth to it than that. And that's not
No.
me just being a bit more old and grumpy about it all, but that's what's sort of glamorized within the football scene. A young, like when I was a kid, it was sticker books and stuff, and you wouldn't get sticker books that would go down the leagues. It would just be all the Premier League.
Yeah.
And that's what you were naturally drawn to and focused on.
But I think that was because the Premier League was trying to, not being funny, they looked at different countries. Premier League, look at America, they look at sponsorship, they look at money. You look at American football. Obviously, James, you're into your American football as well.
Yes, sir.
How big that is on sponsorship and money and stuff like that. It's very big over there. Obviously, it's a lot bigger country, but it seems like the Premier League want to go down that same route.
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong. I said I love any football. You know, from Premier League down to non-league. But the reason why I was saying about get kids to go as well, as I say, that's where it's going to start from. I've got 3 girls. They're not really into football, but they enjoy coming along and watching my team play.
Yeah,
you know, they have a laugh with the lads and stuff like that, and it's quite fun. But they're not used to going to, as I say, for instance, going down to town. They don't go and watch any of the town games, but they're quite happy to come along and watch my team play on a Saturday afternoon. So if we can get it into the youth level, hopefully that will build it back up again, where people love football for football, not for finance. I
think, Adam, we've seen it, and you would have seen it a lot when you were with Stowmarket. The amount of youngsters that were going around in Stowmarket wearing Stowtown kits last season in particular, I haven't seen anything like that. The way that they tapped into that last season was really special, and the way that they get the players involved, and there's a bit of a meet and greet and all that kind of stuff like that. The opportunity to be able to talk at that level to somebody who you were watching, you're not going to get that kind of experience at a higher league thing unless you want to pay stupid amounts of money to be able to have that privilege of going to meet your superstars and the people that you're watching on the pitch. As I said, from a Stowe perspective, they did really well with that last year.
I think pricing strategy is really important with that. Last year, Stowe were kids under 16 are free. I'm not sure if they've reinstated that deal, but they said whilst it's limited crowds, they had to take it away, and now you have to pay for them again. Having kids go in free under that age opens the doors for loads of young people just to go in and start enjoying local football and to have that interaction. And that then results in the secondary spend if you price it right. As long as you price it right. Don't have a kid's shirt for a silly amount of money. Make it so that the kids can buy it, even if it just breaks even or makes a marginal profit. Because a kid going around wearing the club shirt then gets the team noticed. Then the adults are thinking, well, I want to take my kid there.
Yeah.
Because mentally it will affect what you're doing. But then what you need to do is then think of the pricing structure higher up. So how can you get the adults that have got more money to invest more involved with the bigger sponsorships? Go too big on those and you lose people and you don't get the potential income that you need. And I think in our area, I think there's a problem and a massive disparity in the pricing of how you can keep people involved at a higher level.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that some people will look at it from a financial perspective and go, well, we can't afford to let kids in for free. Do you know what I mean? They'll always go, well, let's at least charge £1 or £2 or whatever the case may be. If you allow that person in for free, they're there for a significant period of time. Do you know what I mean? They're there for at least 2, maybe 3 hours. They are going to want a drink. They are going to want something to eat. They are going to want to, do you know what I mean? They're going to want to.
Dad will pay it because they don't want to put up with the tantrum.
Yeah, if there's a pool table, they'll play for pool. Do you know what I mean? There's so many things that people can keep reinvesting into football clubs. So
I'm not being funny. As I say, Saturday afternoon, I'm not being. My missus will be coming up to me and say, "Oh, have you got any money on?" At least it's like during the game. Have you got any money on? Yeah, because the kids want to go and get a chocolate bar or a bag of crisps, or they want to drink, or Do you know what I mean? So it puts money back into the club, and I think the other aspects of it as well is that, I know it's a bit of a long shot, but you could have like 2 or 3 people there that are interested in football but don't play but want to play, and that could help paying for goes towards the club again. They could end up playing for the club. You never know. It's one of those things that youth is a massive thing, I think, in football, and trying to change the mentality of the youth nowadays that it's not all about money. It's not all about cars and flashy things and stuff like that. It's to say the love of the game, and it's trying to get it through, and we can use that now, especially now, I think, with Premiership teams wanting to charge more money and stuff like that. Tap into it massively, honestly.
You have to see though, like this pay-per-view thing, this doesn't go away now. This is what it is, and it'll stay forever. And $14.95 is not where it stops either. This will be the cheap price whilst no one can go to a game.
So is that on top of like a subscription?
Yes, it's pay-per-view.
Yeah. So every game is going to be pay-per-view.
Yeah. So like basically the people that provide IPTV must have been literally rubbing their hands together and running around in circles that day. Like anyone that can get a stream for a year for 25 quid, they can find the right provider. It is honestly, I reckon it must have been like winning the lottery when that was announced.
Let's be honest. They're trying to recoup the money they're losing from ticket sales. That's the brass tacks of it, really, isn't it? Yeah. They've lost a lot of money because there's obviously people not going to the games, not buying those meat pies, not buying those drinks and stuff like that, and they need to recoup it. But I think it's going to backfire because I don't think people are going to pay it. I honestly don't.
No, I certainly wouldn't.
Don't.
Milton Keynes should offer the service because it'd be the same as sitting in the actual ground with how noisy it would be. People would probably pay more than $14.95.
Jesus, firing shots at MK Dons. Is that the levels that we've gone to on this channel, Adam?
All these to be honest, the lower league ones will kind of benefit all the lower league supporters because all the grounds that have got those big tower blocks that are next to the pitch where they can just watch it, they're made. They literally, all they got to do is just get a video camera and just film it and stick it on like Facebook or something like that. They'd be happy with that.
Yeah. And in answer to your question here on Maverick, yes, I believe it is. Luke Winchester has put on here, someone needs to tell Kings Lynn it's not about the money. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that, Luke.
I think, Luke, is that about the programme that they sold for £15 for the first game? Because they said about doing programmes for every game, and that the chairman came out and said, should we do a programme for every game? And the comments was filled with, not if you're going to charge us bloody 15 quid a pop, you're not. No. Like, do you know what I mean? Like everyone the same. So
yeah, definitely. So let's move on from that. I want to start talking about the Super Six, Adam, because you have put in a lot of work into the Super Six. Alex, I'm going to keep you in the chat if you don't mind. I want you to be continuing in this because I want you to get involved not only in the SIL but all of the other discussions as well. So if that's all right with you, I'm going to keep you on here, big man. So
that's fine.
These are next week's Super Six. Again, sponsored by Atlas K9 Security. Really appreciate what you've done, Alice, for this part of the show. Let's get the link in the chat now. It's now been posted onto YouTube, onto Facebook, and to Twitter. Here is the link for this week's Super Six. We've got Leiston versus Peterborough Sports. We've got Walsham Le Willows versus Hadley United. Downham versus Framlingham. Claydon versus Old Newton. Cranes versus Bilderson. And Southwold versus Stanton. There are some big matchups in there. As I said, what we want you guys to do is to get involved in the Super Six. I'll be posting links for the Super Six throughout the week, as will Adam. To keep reminding you guys to enter. You have until Saturday midday to be able to do it. And we want to get as many of you involved as possible because now, thanks to Adam, and he has worked tirelessly on this, we have an updated league table. And here it is. So we have on here a top 60, Adam.
Yeah, I mean,
describe how you put this together.
So we're currently up to a total of 105 entrants on the Super 6.
Wow.
Lots of people are taking part and doing it, some more casually than others, but it really doesn't matter. Like, if I'm honest, with the way scores are going, just get yourself in it. Like, you can recover quickly.
Yeah.
Which I'll talk about in a moment. Like, as a community, we're not very good at this at all.
Really?
And I think James has just picked the hardest week of fixtures, I think, looking at them, to predict that we've had so far, but you never know. This week there were 15 points up for grabs. Overall, this is 4 weeks worth of results, and the highest score is Sean Watson with 24 points.
Right.
Normally there's 18 points per week, so it gives you an idea of what the average is that's coming out each week. It's hard. It's really hard.
It's the score lines more than anything, isn't it? Because I think most people can get the right result and win a point, but it's the correct score line to get 3 points. It is hard. It really is hard.
I'm actually surprised I'm at that position, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm a bit annoyed you're above me, mate, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie.
James, if you would have taken part and remembered to fill the form in this week, mate, you might have overtook him.
I did fill the form in. I'm convinced there's corruption in the ranks here. I'm convinced of it. I swear I filled that form in.
So a few things happened this week that were quite significant. We had our highest ever score racked up by Matt Musgrove. And
yes,
out of 15 points, he scored 11.
Wow.
Which is ridiculous.
That's mental. How'd you do that?
So, yeah, proper impressed with that. Like, the average this week was about 5, which genuinely is very, very good. I mean, on the second week we did it, the average was 2. Like, it was really bad. Like, lots of zeros. So
some people are starting to take this seriously. I reckon they're writing down like their own stats and stuff like that.
I'm starting to get messages from people after results asking how good their week was, meaning I have to scroll through and sort of give them a sort of thumbs up, thumbs down, or a middling response. A couple of zeros happened this week. Luke Gifkins, who's been playing every week but hasn't yet really racked up too many points, hence why he's not on the board. Michael Crowford got a big 0. I'm only going to call that out because I know he'll get loads of stick.
Yeah.
The other honorary shout out, like, because I've made such a fuss of Matt Musgrove getting the 11, Alex Eggleton got 10 and absolutely shot up the board, which is the reason why he is sitting in 4th place.
So we've got a top 5 of spreads: Alex Eggleton, Tony Stone, Tommy Smith, and Sean Watson on 24 points. Do you know what I mean? That top 5 right there is like, that is Suffolk football. Do you know what I mean? That is Suffolk non-league football. Those 5 guys right there, and just directly below it, we've got Shane Cauldron. And Shane he's put a brilliant comment in the comment section. I'm going to bring it up on the screen here. Where has he gone? I'm doing better in the Super 6 than in my real games.
Oh no!
Absolutely brilliant. I love that. I love it. Let's get some more of your comments up on the screen. Daniel Barnard is saying, I'm predicting all games are going to be postponed, whether horrible this week.
If you manage to predict a game to be postponed, I will give you 3 points if you predict it before it's called.
So what? Can you put a score and then put P in brackets or something like that?
You have to go hard or go home. Just when you do it, predict postponed. And
that's quite interesting.
I'll date and time check it against when the call was made.
I'm not having that. You haven't told me that. You told me to fill out the moment you sent me this link last night. You told me to fill it out.
What are you
filled it? James, I filled it out, and now you're changing the rules just because everyone else is here. I'm not having that.
You can't tell me you're someone that would tactically try and be a weatherman.
100%. I'm looking at the weather 3 or 4 times a day, mate. I'm all over that.
All right, Michael Fitch. Sake. All right, let's scrap the postponed rule then.
I like it. I like it. Some more of your comments are floating up on the screen here. Yeah, come on. I'm happy for him. The big man's up there, get it. Leading the way on this. Is that Michael Crofer in 45th place? Yes, it is. Oh, this is brilliant. Portman Rovers, thanks for not embarrassing me. Top 60 is enough. Brilliant. Michael saying, I demand a recount. How is Ellis above me?
He's
Adam?
just scored more points.
Simple as that.
That's how a league table works. He's just scored more points. I'm not going through all of them.
Brilliant. There we go. Yeah. 0 on here. Is that big Nick Pope sitting in 37th? I
don't think it's that Nick Pope, unfortunately.
Can you imagine if it was that Nick Pope?
Yeah, like
should we DM him on Twitter and see if he wants to get involved?
No, the email address doesn't lend itself to being that Nick Pope.
Right.
That's all I say.
Why does it say that not Nick Nick Pope?
No, it's got like a year in it, which would and the date of birth line up.
Right. There we go. Alex, I bet you're happy with that score. I bet you're happy with those predictions, mate. I'm not happy that you're a point ahead of me, buddy. Is a comment on there. Above you, mate, what is going on with that? Then 4 points on there. Follow the trawler later in the season. I see the leaders going to games trying to convince ref to call games.
Standing on the side of the pitch with a hose pipe.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, Stuart has got his predictions in already. He's all over this. He absolutely loves it, and then he's in the top 5. Why wouldn't you? So yeah, sorry, go on, Adam.
Drop it in your group chats and stuff with your teams. Just get anyone involved in it, because I know it takes a while to sort out, but and no disrespect to Sean on 24 points, but that you can catch that score within 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Mind you, he'll probably still keep performing pretty well himself, but yeah. James Bloomfield, actually, he decided to tactically play a game, which I'm not going to reveal, but it nearly resulted him in scoring the highest points of the week.
Really?
I made a mistake, but he ended up on 8 points instead of 11 in the end. But yeah, he's got his own little tactic for this, I think.
So I want to ask you two a question. First of all, I'm going to go to you, Alex. Where are you aiming to be at the end of the season?
I'm happy where I am, to be honest. Prediction-wise, I'm useless, to be honest.
Right.
I predicted that I would have done all right this weekend, but we didn't. So I just, where I am, as long as I'm on the board somewhere, I'll be happy.
Right. Okay. Adam, where are you aiming?
I'm looking at the ground hoppers that take part in this. People that see a lot of games at different places. Drew.
Also, for the guys in the comments, let us know where you're aiming for. I really want to get this as competitive as possibly can. Sorry, go on, Adam. Continue.
Yeah, Drew takes in about 400 games a season, so if I could beat him, that's a win. I don't think it will happen in the end, to be honest, because Drew's on 15 points, but he's missed a week as well. So he goes well every single week. I'd like to beat you just because I want to laugh at you at the end of the season.
Nice, thank you, mate.
To be honest, so yeah, just look around, see who does a bit of ground hopping and stuff, and have a bit of a competition between us. I think the managers and stuff of the different teams seem to be the ones that are really on it.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm aiming for a top 10.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's where I want to go. You've
start submitting the forms then, boy.
Well, this is the thing, because I'm still not convinced by it. So I think that I've got some making up to do through no fault of my own, but I have some making up to do. But I am aiming for the top. I'm aiming for the top 10. I want to be in and amongst the big boys of Suffolk non-league football. Aiming for a top 20 is an easy cop out. I'm aiming for top 10. I'm going for it.
It's really hard because some of these people down in the bottom 10 places have played every single week.
Yeah.
You just never know how it's going to work out, like the long game.
So you turn around and said that I'm going to have to up my game.
Good man.
Up my game now that you turn around and said you want to hit top 10. I'm going to have to up my game now.
Right. Good man. He's gonna put some effort in this week. But again, just a reminder on this week's games, we've got Leiston versus Peterborough, Walsham and the Willows versus Hadley, Downham versus Framlingham, Claydon versus Old Newton, Crane versus Bilderston, Southwold versus Stanton. They are the 6 games. Again, link is in the description. We'll be posting this out throughout the week. If you want to get involved, make Adam work a little bit harder by updating these tables, and get your predictions in. We would love to hear from you. Ben Moore is aiming for a top 20 finish. I love it. Follow the trawler. Showing up in the top 60 would be nice just once this season. Let's keep your predictions coming in, my friend. We've got Paul Musgrove who says, I can't believe my brother has got results right. As a Scouse, he normally doesn't go outside the Premier League. Brilliant. Michael's prediction, he just wants to finish above Ellis. Tom Smith, I'm going for top spot. I love that. There he is.
He's been there or thereabouts every single week. Most consistent performer, I think, throughout.
Paul has said Spreads is going to win this, and Dan Barnard says, I'm finishing below Finney. I don't want a neighbour from hell. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, if you want to get involved, you know what to do. Comments, get your predictions in. And, yeah, we'll be updating this every single week. Right, let's move on to. You can tell when people know we're talking about the results, because the numbers have just gone up and up and up and up. They've just gone to another level. So we are at that point now of the evening where we're going to be talking about the results from around the leagues. Again, at this point, if you want more and more people to get involved in the comment section, this is the point of the video where I normally say, share us on Twitter. Retweet the link for the show. Get us sharing around on Facebook. Put it into your WhatsApp conversations. If you're around on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave us your comments as well. Get involved in all of the discussions on the league. We really, really want you guys to get involved as much as possible. We are starting off, as we always do on the show, by going off to the top, the creme de la creme of Suffolk football. So for midweek games, we had unfortunate postponement between Hitchin and Needham Market. Other teams in our area, we had Leiston 2-2 against AFC Russian and Diamonds, and the Lowestoft game was postponed. So not a huge amount to go through from our local perspective, but at least Leiston getting a draw against a very good Russian and Diamonds team, it has to be said. The Saturday action saw Needham go away to Banbury United and get a 1-1 draw. We had Leiston collecting another draw, another 2-2 draw actually, again away against Hitchin Town, which is a very good away point.
Love a Desmond.
Yeah, exactly. And Kings Langley 1-1 against Lowestoft Town. Do you know what? Every time I type in Kings Langley on my sheets, and every time I'm updating these, I keep thinking, if they have not renamed their home ground King's Landing, they've missed an absolutely major opportunity. Any Game of Thrones fans will know what I'm talking about in there.
Absolutely terrible.
King's Landing, come on. No, you're both shaking your heads. We're going to move on very swiftly from that. So,
Darks next.
League table is as follows. Let me get rid of the runner so you can see the bottom of the table. So Needham are in the playoffs now. They've dropped down a position after that draw, but they're still unbeaten. Very, very good start for our boys just down the road here, Adam. Lowestoft are in the top half, and Leiston, after those 2 draws, are up and running. We just need them to get a victory, and that will soon see them climb the table. But at this early stage, it's so competitive in this division. You can see a lot of draws between teams in this division. It's very, very competitive. No one really kind of, setting the pace in terms of constant wins. Is a very, very competitive division.
Did you know, James, that Billy Key has signed for Colville?
Has he?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Saw him on the team bus having a good bit of banter the other day.
Really?
Away. Yeah. So yeah, that's. I was absolutely shocked, but he looks like he's really enjoying it. To be honest, he's scoring a few
Good.
goals as well.
Yeah, good. That is the main thing from his perspective, because obviously we all know about his struggles, and I really hope that he's enjoying that. But yeah, it's good to see two of our teams doing very well in the league. As I said, we just need Leyton to get up and running, but they've stopped the losing run. They've got 2 draws within the space of a week, and as I said, they just need a win to kickstart their season. Really,
it's not. It's a couple of wins and Leyton jump straight up again. Do you know what I mean? It's
not going to take a massive amount. For this division, there are no midweek games, so we see ourselves jumping forward to Saturday, where we have got the first one is Leyton versus Peterborough Sports, Lowestoft versus Russell Olympic, and Needham versus Bromsgrove Sporting. All 3 of our local sides are at home and are going to be wanting to get all 3 points. So let's move on into the Ishmael North. From our local area, there's not really a massive amount to kind of talk for. I suppose Cambridge kind of fall into that bracket, but you can see some of the midweek fixtures up on the screen here.
Whittam with a win there.
It is.
Yeah, it is. It's quite surprising.
Yeah.
They were buzzing about that on Twitter.
I can imagine.
They have beaten the Wizards, so it doesn't really count anyway, does it? That's just beating a travelling circus.
Okay.
Jesus. Adam firing shots tonight. Brilliant. The weekend's action, we saw Sudbury going away from home to Basildon and getting a 2-2 draw. Bury in the controversial game from the weekend, collecting a 1-0 victory against Dereham Town. And we've also saw Felixstowe losing away from home against Malden and Tiptree 3-0. So a draw, a win, and a loss for our local side. Adam, you're kind of looking puzzled.
I wouldn't really worry about that Felixstowe result. Malden are absolute different gear. If I'm honest, like I would have, I would have predicted that one to go that way. Soham Town Rangers are going all right.
They are. But if we look at the league table, you will see that they are actually in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Bury have only played the 2 matches, but have won both of their games and are currently sat in 9th place. Felixstowe on 5 points in 14th place, and Sudbury, after 4 games, are on 4 points, just above the relegation zone. But again, I mean, look at that, 6 points between top and bottom. It's so competitive in that division. Again, no one's really kind of setting an early pace. But with a lot of teams still on 4 games, it's probably to be expected at this point of the season. And again, fixture-wise, going up into this week, there are no Saturday fixtures, and the only team that we had representing us has been postponed and has been moved forward to next Tuesday, which is Cambridge City against Felixstowe. So we're going to very quickly move on into the FA Trophy second qualifying round. We've got a couple of fixtures this weekend for some of our local teams. It's Felixstowe and Walton versus Westfield, and Loughborough Dynamo versus Bury Town. Are we expecting both our teams to go through based on that?
I know nothing about the teams that they're playing against.
Alex, provide the insight.
Well, it's nice that the Felixstowe are doing a lot better than what we were, let's say, last season. Last season, they seem to be quite, struggling quite a bit, but it seems like they're kind of ticking over quite well. But it's the cup, innit? You don't know. You're going to come up against a team you know nothing about, and, you've got to go in it and, it's just play your heart out. Just play your heart out, win the game.
Yeah, I think with the way Bury are going, they can go into that game with no fear because they are playing. They've started off the season incredibly well. From a Felixstowe perspective, when you're playing against a team that is a bit unknown, the main thing is you've got home advantage. So I fancy both of our teams getting through on here. Completely side note from the fixtures, we've just had a comment coming on here saying, "Well, where is it? Can we get Vinny on soon?" Can you imagine, Adam, if we did?
I'll let you do the censoring.
I'm not going to bother censoring. I won't even monetize the video. There'd be no point. Just scrap the ads. It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all.
I'm not saying anything. I've known Vinny for a while, and that's down to you two.
Safe, is he?
Sorry.
Totally watershed safe.
Yeah.
That's a no.
When's your watershed?
You can't say anything about them taking your money away.
No, you can't say anything on YouTube.
Thirsty for their 17p.
But I'm not being funny. Vinny will agree, and a lot of people agree with me. You know, there's a lot of things that you know, that he'll say that a lot of people think and probably might not have the
cojones to say.
Yeah. And you've got to respect him for that. You've got to respect him for that.
Yeah, definitely. So. Suffolk Premier Cup results from midweek. We had Brantham 2, Felixstowe 6 in a very high scoring game. We had Hadley 1-1 against AFC Sudbury, and Hadley going through 5-4 on penalties. A great result for Hadley there. Witton 0, Stowmarket 10, which is obviously the game we were at midweek, which was just insane. Walsham Le Willows 1, Ipswich Town 11-3, and Long Melford 1-1 against Kirkley and Pakefield, and Long Melford winning 4-3 on penalties. Adam, you were at the Walsham Le Willows Ipswich game. What did you make of it very quickly?
I hate to say it, but Ipswich were just absolute magic. Like, they were so calm on the ball. It was unbelievable. Yeah. Like, they played players that night that played the night before against Gillingham.
Really?
Yeah. Like, got all these young players. They're just so good. It was ridiculous.
How many they at the town actually have? Because I know we played a side, or our first team played a side last season, which I think was the senior. Was it the Senior Cup or?
I don't know. Like, I think I don't know if they enter a team in the cup below this or not. Like, this was under 23s categorically,
right?
That they used because the players that were involved, but some of them looked just so good. It was ridiculous. But
yeah,
one of my big complaints about the game is that I never felt like Walsham got in their faces and in their ears. They didn't play the mental game. Right. And I think that Ipswich, they were so like, they never questioned a decision the ref made all game long. They weren't all that loud with each other. You know, there was a couple of people in defence that were just sort of shepherding the back line to the right sort of direction and making them turn the right way. But they had a couple of people that steered the ship, but otherwise it was just a quiet, composed, very comfortable 90 minutes for them.
Yeah.
But I think Walsham probably had their eye on the Vars because that's what the money is. And Walsham did have to, like, I hate to say it, but they had to forfeit the FA Cup money because of COVID reasons. So there was a good reason for them to want to progress in the Vars.
Yeah. Yeah, which is a fair comment on there. Let's bring up the FA Vars results then from the weekend. So we've got 2 pages on here, but we've got Galston 3-2 against Downham Town. A very, very good win, and I know that they left it very late in that game to turn that around. I think they were losing 2-1 at one point before turning it around to win 3-2. Lakenheath 1, Mildenhall Town 3. So battle of the airfields there. Mildenhall. You loved that from last week, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was your line from last week. Yeah. Sheringham 0, Walsham Le Willows 1, Swaffham and Fakenham playing at a Desmond, and Fakenham won 4-3 on penalties.
Shocking from Swaffham.
Quickly, you want to talk on that, Adam?
I just would have wanted a result there just to try and get their season going.
Yeah.
More like, I know Fakenham are good. Like, let's not take that away, but nothing's going their way, is it?
Yeah, there you go. Dan's answered the question from before. Ipswich usually field an under-18 side in the Senior Cup, and a lot of Ipswich under-23 players have non-league experience. So that's probably why they chucked those guys in against Walsham. Yeah. The Vinny saying New Salaman says that's just not a team. They're making stuff up. Lee saying Ipswich were strong, but also very good as well on there. But yeah, to move on, we've got Thetford 1, Norwich United 2. The Witton game was postponed. Great Yarmouth 1, Mulbarton 3, Ipswich Wanderers 1, London Colney 0. March 2-2 against Norwich CBS, with Norwich CBS winning 6-5 on penalties, and New Salamas 3, Cournard United 0. And then on the second page, we've got West Essex 3, Haverhill 4, and Whittlesea Athletic 2, Debenham 0. Alex, if you're still in the chat, my man, let us know about that game. What was it like? How do you feel the game went. Let us know in the comments on there. But Alex, what kind of result stands out there for you? Is there one that you're thinking, I didn't expect to see that, or one that's a good morale booster for somebody? Because I'm looking at the Norwich CBS result. For them, they've struggled. They haven't started off the season well, and even if it is a win on penalties, it's still a win. Do you know what I mean? That for them could be the start of a turning point for them.
You'd hope so.
We spoke. I think we spoke about this. I was last week or the week before. Me, Tam, and I said that obviously a cup run can obviously boost someone's season. So hopefully this will obviously G them up a little bit and boost their league campaign up. You know, looking at it, you know, there's some good sides in there. So I'm loving that Wanderers are kicking on at the moment. Wanderers are quite personal for me. I was there a long time ago, and to see how they're getting on now. Obviously, I know Bucks as well. You know, I know people are digging a little bit about obviously the signing that they made and everything like that, but you can't take away from it. They're going to have a great season this season, I think, in the cup and the league. Shame about Yarmouth.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen them maybe go on, but Mulbarton are a good team.
So it showed the strength of Mulbarton as well. Like those teams, I would have said were fairly evenly matched, but Mulbarton have gone away from home and ran away with it.
That is do you like Alex's comment on here? That is just that's a typical thing when the moment you go out of a cup. Yeah, I wasn't interested anyway. It doesn't matter. We're concentrating on the league. League's the most important thing.
Have you spoken to the chairman about that, Alex? I'm sure he would have liked the money.
The Thetford Norwich United. Obviously, I'd still follow some of the Thurlow sides, obviously sides that I've been at and stuff like that. But that one's, I think Thetford have been a little bit disappointed with that. You know, because from what I've seen, they're not having a great season. Am I right? Yeah. They're not that. And 2-1, I don't know, was it a close game? I don't know if it was a close game or if it was, you know, a 2-0 or up the 90 minutes.
That they should have got something from it.
Yeah.
But they are so hungry for something at the moment because at some point they've got to do something. They've got to get a result of sorts.
Yeah.
Like they keep saying we're not far away, but they've never crossed that line yet.
Yeah,
definitely. What you've just brought up on the screen is something that I wanted to go on and say. With the form that CBS are in, I'm not afraid to turn around and say this looks like a year where Wanderers can do a few rounds in the Vars, and good on them for doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
With Wanderers, I remember what was it, a couple of seasons ago, they were struggling.
Yes,
as a club, they were struggling. And to see now that they're, you know, showing people, hold on a minute, we're now a force. It is good.
Yeah, and again, go back to the point we're talking about earlier on with the fact that fans can't get into Portman Road. As an Ipswich-based side, in that area of Ipswich, where they are completely separated away from a lot of people, again, now is a perfect opportunity. You know, you're playing some good football, get people in the door and just show what you're capable of, and just, you know, just enjoy it. And really, really embrace it, because as I said, for them, they're a club on the up, and things are only going to get better as the season goes on.
As well, it's got a lovely little bar in there. A lot of it's covered as well. So even with this weather at the moment, you know, you can have a sit down and stay nice and dry.
We had a great match day experience when we went there a little while back.
What, Ipswich Wanderers? Yeah, I've been there several times. I always enjoy going up there. They're a club that treat you well. So yeah, I can't have a bad word to say about them. Do you know what I mean? From my own personal experience, anyway. But Shane has put on there, Wanderers will upset many teams this year in the Vars. Great squad and great management team. Let's move on to the furlough none. Let's go into the Premier results first of all. Only the one game from midweek saw Ely collecting a 2-0 win at home against Swaffham. And then on the weekend, we had Bramford and Long Melford was postponed. Ely 0-0 against Hadley. Clacton versus Woodbridge was postponed. Newmarket 4, Kirkley and Payfield 1. Stanway Rovers are just, their form from the beginning of the season to now, it's just been a transformation. Over the last few matches, they've been absolutely superb. A 5-1 victory against God Manchester Rovers, and the Wroxham Stowe game was postponed. So that is how the league table currently looks in the Furlough Nuns. We've got Wroxham and Norwich United up the top. Stanway, nine games played, but they are now in third place. Who would have thought that after the opening 4 or 5 fixtures? They've dramatically turned that around.
League games though. This league is so poorly represented by the number of games that teams have played.
Yeah,
due to playoffs. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it, and you've got people like Bramtham and Stowe and Long Melford who are all on 4 games.
Yeah,
you've got a whole cluster of teams that are on 7, and then you've got people like Kirkley and Payford who are on 8, and Stanway on 9.
It's not even going to be comparable for another month, I don't think.
Well, I just don't see the reason why it's up in the air. Is it, to be honest, is that more because of the cups?
Well, Stanway are based, so they don't enter the same cups as a lot of the rest of the league. So I don't know if they all start at different times.
Because obviously a lot of these are played in the Vars. I don't know if there was any of these that were in the was it the Primary Cup that still had to be played?
No, that's all done.
Yeah. So there's been quite a few postponements in this division, and with the cup results being the way they are, and some teams progressing quite nicely in there, it has had a bit of an effect on the league. And I think that only shows in the fact that Saturday's fixtures, there was only a couple of teams actually playing, and the number of postponements that were just up on that previous graphic just shows you that this league, it's not a fair reflection at the moment. Will we ever get to a fair reflection? Who knows? We'll have to kind of wait and see, because it's a lot of, for I said, even people like Mildenhall and 10th, it's a lot of catching up to do already. Do you know what I mean? It's you're already playing a catch up.
Yeah.
Let's say you do look at the teams there, and there's no way Stowmarket's going to be mid-table at the end of the season.
Alex, I'm getting so many people in so many sources. Oh, Stowmarket had this awful start to the season. They drew 4 games last season and didn't lose any, and everyone said about them then that the placement of where you draw games or lose them. The thing is, it's all taken away because Wroxham have played 6, won 6.
Yeah.
Norwich also haven't lost, but they've played more games. So because Stowe's actual games are diluted, the same with Mildenhall. Everyone knows Mildenhall are a really decent team. No one can talk about them, or if they are, they're going to talk badly about them because they're like, I heard people say, you're giving away silly draws. What?
As I say, you look at the results, you look at the fixtures, right? And I'm not being funny. I know, obviously, people look at the league table and like, Wroxham are doing really well at the moment. Stuff like, I'm not being funny. Like, they go and draw a game next week. They lose a game the week after.
They're back in the same boat as everyone else.
So quickly. It was changed so quickly. Do you know what I mean? It's you can't really go. The only time you can really, me personally, the only time you can really sit there and turn around and go, right, there's a chance that this team is going to win this league, is Christmas, January, February time. I would say January time, to be honest, because that's obviously when games start dwindling down, teams come out of cups and stuff like that. You can't determine it yet. You can somehow say they've had a great start or they've had a pretty poor start, but you can never determine how they're going to do for the rest of the season.
So who would have said that Hadley would be in 4th at this point in the season based on what they did last year?
Yeah.
For all we know, they may have got 90% of the points that they're going to get all season.
Yeah.
You just don't know what's around the corner for exactly what Alex said.
No, that's a very good point. So the fixtures for the Furlough Nun this week, we've got quite a few midweek games. Galston versus Wroxham, Kirkley and Payfield versus Walsham and Willows, Swaffham versus Norwich United, God Manchester versus Newmarket. I don't know why I've left their form out. I do apologise to God Manchester and Newmarket fans. Long Melford versus Stanway, Woodbridge versus Stowmarket is the final one. Although, is that game going ahead?
Yes.
It is. I don't understand that. How is that going ahead? If their game on the weekend was postponed, I don't understand how that's being allowed to go ahead.
The Woodbridge game, was that not against Haverhill, weren't it?
I'm thinking more about Stonemarket's game being called off this weekend against Roxham.
Postponed it.
Yeah, no, Stowe had to. Yeah, I think it is going ahead as much as I know. I don't know if Stowe players all had to get tested, but obviously if they all came back negative, they can play.
Interesting. Because it's over. I thought it was 2 weeks. I thought if it's like.
Yeah, but no, that's if you have to isolate though, if anyone's had symptoms.
Right, okay.
See how confusing this is?
Yeah, this is the thing. And then
because we've got Haverhill Rovers reserves next week. And I've obviously asked my club to find out what the situation is because obviously their first team postponed 2 of their games.
Well, right. Stowe played Witten reserves at the weekend, so I don't think it's a problem if they haven't had contact.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
Yeah.
It's hard to
find out.
Ollie's comment it's on because the FA don't care about player safety. Brilliant. Lau Moss, I've isolated in the pub for a week. Stowe game is on. We had the same discussion on it. Interesting. Good to see people having the same discussions as what we are on the show about that. And then the Saturday fixtures see Bramford versus Ely, Gold Manchester versus Galston, Haverhill versus Swaffham, Kirkley versus Long Melford, Norwich versus Mildenhall, Stowe versus Stanway, which that looks to be a great game. Oof. That could be a very good game. Walsham versus Hadley, which again on paper looks very, very tasty. Between two local teams. Woodbridge versus Thetford, 2 teams who are desperate for a win. 1 draw in the last 10 games between them. That's just both teams desperate.
But we say that. Could you actually see Thetford picking up anything from that? I'm not being funny. I haven't looked at who Woodbridge have played in the first fixtures they've had. They could have had really difficult teams. Where Thetford could have had teams that probably weren't as good. Do you know what I mean?
I think they've got a bit of rebuilding and stabilising to do after losing Carlos and some mixed around over the summer. Like there's some odd games there, and that's certainly one of them. Kirkley and Long Melford, I think, will actually be a really good game. Personally, like that's one I'd quite like to go and have a look at. But Norwich and Mildenhall, that's 2 big hitters. Yeah. Big hitters.
Yeah, that I think Walsham, Stowmarket and the Norwich games. And I think you could arguably put Bramford versus Ely in there as well. On paper, that looks a very good game. But Dan is in agreement with Alex that the Norwich Mildenhall game is a standout one from the Prem. So let's move on into the Furlough None North now. 2 results from midweek saw Fakenham 10-0 winners against Wisbech St Mary. I mean, at this point, I don't really know what to say. Adam, talk to me. What?
I'm not even shocked.
No,
I actually expect that now.
Yeah,
I actually want to watch Wisbech St Mary just to see what it is that they are not doing and what they are doing. Like. I don't. It sounds so disrespectful, but I can't understand how a team can do this every week.
There must be something happening there. I mean, maybe there'll be some people in the comments who will know more than more about the ins and outs of the club than what we do. But it's I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. Alex, you want to say something?
I used to watch a lot of because Wisbech used to put a lot of stuff on YouTube. And it was it must be quite a few years ago. They had a striker there. Was it Cobbold? Was his name?
Right.
And he was banging in goals left, right, and centre and stuff like that. And Wisbech were like annihilating teams. And to look at it now and go to be losing by that much,
it looks like they've forgotten to register a goalkeeper.
By the looks of it, I probably could go and goal for him.
But I don't understand how they won't hold on to any players. No one wants to turn up and get hit for 8-10 a week. You know, like it's daft.
No worries, Westerfield. Glad you were in the house anyway. Don't worry. We'll get into the SIL in a few moments, so you can jump on board and have your say about what you think is going on in the SIL. But yeah, again, moving on. Sorry, go on. Did somebody want to?
No, I was just going to say I've been there. I've managed a side and played for a side that have lost by that amount, and it can be deflating, but it usually picks up after a while, and I hope it does for them, because you never want to see a side getting beaten that badly each week.
No. I don't want to say it.
Up, do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I don't know. Need a shake up there or something, or I don't know. Something needs to click.
Mentality is going to be on the floor though in that team. When they play Wanderers, genuinely, I'd like to see it.
Yeah,
it will be carnage.
Could be an interesting game. And conceding 10 during the week, they conceded 8 on the weekend against Needham Marcus Reserves. They lost 8-1 away from home. The other results in the league is that Sudbury Reserves lost 9-2 to Framlingham in a very high-scoring game. Haverhill versus... Can you imagine being involved in a 3-all draw and it not even like... Do you know what I mean? It's not even the biggest scoring game of the division. Haverhill Borough and Distown 3-all draw. Kings Lynn Town Reserves 1, Leiston Reserves 5. A very good victory for Leiston Reserves. And that is the league table as a result. Wisbech with a minus 40 goal difference after 9 games. I don't want to continue talking about it, but at the top of the table, it's very competitive. We've got 4 teams who are doing very well and a big chasing pack who have got games in hand as well. This division at the top is very, very highly contested. You've still got Dis down there in 10th on 5 games. They've still got plenty of time to catch up. Again, it's just very, very competitive. This is exactly what we want at the top of the table, not so much at the bottom. And we've still got Sheringham down there who have only played 4 games, who have got a lot of catching up to do already. But it's, I'd say, at the top, very competitive.
Split into thirds already, though, isn't it? It really is. Right.
Well, is that because of? I mean, there are a lot of teams who have played over 6 or 7, but do you think that is probably going to be the way this league will go?
Until everyone's played Wisbech once, possibly.
I've see. I don't want to shoot myself in the foot and put a curse on it, but I've already decided who I think is going to win that league.
Care to share?
Yeah, I don't want to in case I put a curse on it. I think Wanderers will win it. To be honest, I think what Bucks has done there is brilliant. Blake at the moment he's on form. He's just taking everything in his stride. He's just full of confidence, and everything seems to be like a water off a duck's back with him at the moment. Lake and Heath, I think they'll challenge, and I think Fakenham will challenge, but that's just me personally. I just think Wanderers are going to be too strong for other people, and I think we'll be there at the end of the season.
We'll see. Midweek games, we've got Cornard versus Haverhill Borough, Mulbarton versus Sheringham, Downham versus Marchtown, and Great Yarmouth versus Dis. We've got Saturday fixtures: Ipswich versus Leiston Reserves, Distown versus Kings Lynn Town Reserves, Downham versus Framlingham, Fakenham versus Needham Market, March versus Debenham, Mulbarton, Cornard, Norwich CBS versus Sudbury, Sheringham versus Haverhill Borough, and Wisbech versus a Great Yarmouth. Standout fixture, I think Ipswich versus Leiston Reserves could be, league-wise, that could be a very good game.
Ignore that. There's some personal stuff in there as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Blakey playing against Leiston of some form.
Yeah. Good point.
That's something. I don't know. Like for me, there's a lot of games in there. I think the March Debenham game will be an interesting one. Like Debenham have been had an on-off start. So, and that's a hard place to go. So,
do you not think that game against Wanderers kind of gave them a little bit of a confidence?
Absolutely.
you know, because obviously I watched the highlights of that first half. They weren't really in it. Second half, they, you know, clawing back, whatever was said to them. Second half, you know, stuck a rocket up their backside and, you know, went out and gave a good show of themselves, and obviously getting a win after that as well. You know, it's hopefully that will kick them on.
Yeah, definitely. Right, this is the point of the show where the chat goes off. We are moving on into the SIL, and before we jump into the senior results, I just want to bring up the Suffolk Junior Cup first round results from the weekend. We had Kesgrave 4-0 winners against Hawthorn United, AFC Yorkshire 7-1 victory against Grunsborough, Bedricks 2, Sporting 3, Melton 3-all against Bacton, which I've actually been told was 2-all and not 3-all, but for some reason the full-time had it down as a 3-all draw, but Bacton won 4-3 on penalties. Southwold 1, Beccles Claxton 2, Tattingstone picking up a 3-0 victory against Barham in a divisional clash. Wen Hastings and Ipswich Athletic was a 0-0 draw, with Wen Hastings winning 7-6 on penalties. I've seen the penalty save in that. It's a very good save from the goalkeeper. Walthamstow United 1, Kirkland Payfields under 23s 2, Somersham 1, Elmswell 4, and Mutford went from 5, Cockfield United 2. So there was another slide to this because there are friendly balls. No, I think that was it. No, they are the results from this one. And I do just want to play a quick video that we have been sent in by Sean. Just he has got the highlights from the AFC Yorkshire versus Grunsborough games. Guys, just to let you know, in the chat there is a lot of wind in this one, so just turn your volumes down ever so slightly for a couple of minutes of highlights from that game. So there we have some of the highlights from the AFC Yorkshire versus Grunsborough game. I think it's safe to say weather conditions affected quite a few of those goals in that game, but taking nothing away from the guys over at AFC Yorkshire, it's a very good victory for them against a good Grunsborough team in Div 1. Let's not get away from it. That is a very, very good result for them. Let's get a few more of your comments up on the screen here. Tat winning again. You love to see it from Paul on there. This is Tat's opportunity to shine, isn't it? Here we go. Ollie Holmes up the Tat. We love clean sheets up the Tat. AFC Yorkshire's lads turned up for the cameras. Absolutely love it. We got on here Ollie Holmes saying 15 goals scored, no conceded, Tat or a cut above. We've got a few comments about the keeping in that one. Very interesting. Conditions played quite a big factor in that game. Let's not get away from
your shirts are a good side. Your shirts are a good side. They've done the same last season. obviously when I was at Ransoms, they went and played our first team and they beat them in the cup as well. Yeah, it was on penalties, but I'm not being funny. They're a very good side. You can't take that away from them. You know, that's great. I'm sure that's still Desi still playing in goal for him. He's been there quite a few seasons. He's been going on for quite a while now, but he's still going. But yeah, you're sure it's a good side. You can't.
Yeah. Definitely. I just want to point out as well, we're talking about the senior Suffolk Junior Cup on here, but I just want to give a shout out to Sands United on here. Good show, guys. Looking forward to our first ever game versus Debenham LC on Thursday night. They are doing some amazing work in awareness for Baby Loss Awareness Week this week, and the game is to help raise awareness for those. So if you guys can go over to Twitter and just give them a follow, give them a shout out. And if you want to put your hand in your pocket and donate any money towards that good cause, that would be much appreciated. It just means it will mean a lot to the guys over on there. And good luck to the game that you guys are having on Thursday night. I really hope it goes well for everybody involved. So as I said, some of those results up on the screen. Alex, standout results.
Obviously. You got
I suppose Southwold losing is probably a bit of a shock.
Yeah, I think the weather played a part in a lot of games this weekend. You know, as I say, I watched highlights of Your Shirts game, and I watched the highlights of the Bedricksworth game as well. And
thank you very much.
You know, that was weather played quite a big part in that as well, because I think you had like a torrential downpour. I think
yeah. It was
in the second half.
The problem was Sporting kept pumping the ball in the air first half, and the wind was so strong it just hung up there.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
See that one, I wouldn't have liked to see that first game. I would have loved to have seen it in the league, not the cup. It's for those two to play each other that early. I was like, you know, because
we said the same.
Yeah, I turned around and said that those two are going to be there and thereabouts for the league anyway. But I don't know. Obviously, it's going to be, it might be the same conditions, but you think it's going to be different conditions when they play against each other again. So that'll make it interesting. Obviously, Bedricksworth will be a bit disappointment because, you know,
they were in control of that game. They were in absolute control of that game. Within the space of 30 seconds, they were winning 2-1 and it went to 3-2. We both said off camera, didn't we, Adam? I still can't wrap my head around how that happened.
They slowed the tempo down, is what happened. They slowed it down too much. Then when Sporting got the ball, they're able to work some space. And against Bedricksworth, if you have the ball on the floor, that is not their strength. They win everything in the air, and they're a bit quick up top.
You've got to be ruthless with a team like Sporting. You know, I've played them at different levels. I've played first team, played their reserves, played their A side, and they're always they're one of those sides that don't give up.
Yeah,
they don't give up. No matter what the score is, they don't give up. Keep on going. And as I say, as you say, if they slowed that tempo down, that's like, right, come on, this is where we push now. This is where we get something.
Vinny, they won't be there or thereabouts. They're fighting for second place. Is taxed. Brilliant stuff. Let's move on to the senior results from the weekend. So we had Bilderston 6, Capel Plough 2, Bournevale and Cops playing at a 1-1 draw. Crane and Claydon was postponed, and a lot of comments came in on Twitter about that postponement.
Brush that aside. What
if you guys want to talk about it in the comment section, feel free to do so. But just
open a can of worms, James.
100%. Why not? Let's get involved. East Burgold 2, Achilles 1, Halesworth 1, Bennell St Mary 2. I don't know why I said it so surprised, because Bennell are a very good outfit.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Alex.
We spoke about this. We spoke about it last week. I knew that would be the game. That if Halesworth were going to drop points, it would be against a team like Bennell.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
They're just one of those. They're they're like a dog with a bone, Benel. Do you know what I mean? They nibble and nibble and nibble and nibble until they get something out of it.
Yep, I agree with that statement. That's a very accurate way of describing the team, actually. Then we had Old Newton 3, Westerfield 1, Ransoms 3, Leighton St Margaret's 1, and Trimley 2, Henley Athletic 5. What a result! What a result for the boys over at Henley.
Like Henley 2-0 down at 40 minutes, go down to 10 men, get 2 back before half time, like because of a sin bin. And for once, a sin bin might have been a saving grace in the game for him because it's turned it around. Absolute class performance, apparently, from Clark Bruce as well. Doing the dirty stuff and actually getting job done and coming through 5-2 is big.
Yeah,
I'm going to be, I'm always going to, when Henley win, I'm always going to be there going, yeah, great result and everything like that. But it generally is a great result for them.
Yeah,
to bounce back after last week. The boys, I deserve. They put a lot of hard work in. They do put a lot of hard work in training.
Yeah.
Some of the lads train twice because some of them come along with me and train as well. So,
really?
they put a lot of hard work into it. So, but that's a good result. And to go to Trimley as well. I said last week, Trimley's a hard place to go to and win.
Yep.
Even harder when you go 2 goals down. So, massive result from.
Love the comment from Arnold on the screen here.
Bilderston are coming through as I predicted at the start of the season.
Yeah. They have turned things around, and let's have a look at the league table. So, I mean, how tight do you want to get at the top there? Look at that. First, all the way to 8th is separated by 3 points, and we still have yet to really see Crane Sports have a consistent run of games because of various different bits. Cops are still, again, get them up onto even games and they'll be right in the mix as well. Hawley, again, exactly the same. You need to get those up onto the same level of games. But this league, man, this is the most exciting league. I'm just going to say it. This is the most exciting league in Suffolk football right now.
It's let's say we spoke about it last week. It's brilliant to have a league where it is so competitive this season. It's not, I say, 2 teams running away with it. It literally, so many teams are in the mix, and so many teams I think want it as well. I think the season that Cranes had last season has made other teams think, hold on a minute, we're going to have to get the right players here. We're going to have to get the right attitude here. We're going to have to put that work in. We're going to have to work hard as furlough and unsized. We might have to train twice a week. It's pushing them, and it's brilliant because the people that get the benefits out of it are the people that go and watch it because you're getting good football. You're not getting scrappy football with goal-mouth scrambles and silly goals going in. It is literally, you're getting a decent level of football for nothing.
Absolutely for free, which is brilliant. As I said, that this league table and the positions that are there, that's just going to be changing all the time, and that is why it's going to be an amazing league. We've got on here Vinny's just on the wind up tonight. Achilles to win Div 1 next year. Harsh, Vinny.
Dick's been quiet tonight as well. Like, I don't know if you're still watching, but like, I know it's not going how he probably wants it to go, like, which would probably be an understatement. But there's plenty of time.
Yeah,
he gets a lot of stick from people.
Do you know what? I've known Dean a fair few years now. I've played with him. I've played for him because he managed Stowe Reserves for a little bit, and I went and played in goal for him there. He's the same as me. He won't give up. That's the thing. He won't give up. He will keep going. And because they lost a lot of kiddies, lost a lot of players. You can't expect him to go in and just go bam, there you go. We're right at the top of the league again, and we're going to win everything. It's not going to happen. You can't rebuild a side from that to a senior division winning side. It's going to take time.
Yeah.
But there's not many people that would go in and do it.
Yeah.
So from a manager's point of view, I'll sit there and I'll turn around and say, take my hat off to the man. He's gone in there. He's had to rebuild something, and good luck to him.
Yeah, definitely. We've got on here as well. Senior's so open this year. It's just going to get even better as the season goes on. So the upcoming fixtures for the Senior League, we've got Benall versus Trimley in, again, just another absolutely mouth-watering game there. Cable Plough versus Achilles, again, 2 points between the last 5 games. 2 teams that are going to have to start getting a victory from somewhere. Claydon versus Old Newton, which again, just
a great one.
There are some great games. Cops versus Ransom's another great one. Crane versus Bilderston, East Bergholt versus Leyston, Hawley versus Halesworth, Henley versus Bourne Vale. I mean, can you pick a standout game from there? You could at least say about 6 of those are standout games.
To be honest, I'd want to watch all of them.
Well, even Leyston to Margaret's?
Yeah. Because see, the thing is, right, Leyston, they're going to have to.
I think that's a weak fixture though, because East Bergholt been up and down as well.
But do you know what? I don't know. It's Leyston. I don't know if they're rebuilding down there or if they've just not clicked yet.
Just nothing seems to be going their way. They just seem to be in big trouble.
But I might this week. I know Bergholt's a difficult place to go to, but it's I'd still go and watch it.
You got to look Henley against Bourne Vale, based on recent games and where results have come from and all the rest of it. That looks tasty.
Yeah.
See, Bourne Vale
versus Ransom. Sorry, go on, Alex.
Sorry. No, I was just saying, Bourne Vale were kind of slipped in under the radar. Not many people have actually spoken about Bourne Vale, but you look at their form and it ain't too shabby.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
We need to get every game, do a multi-feed.
That is the future, my friends.
Tell you what, we could charge $13.95 a game, and we'd undercut a certain service.
Yeah. Paul's on there saying Dean is a good manager, just needs time. He will make Achilles great again. Jordan is saying Henley versus Bourne Vale looks a very tasty fixture. Let's move into
make Achilles great again. Get him those great hats with "Make Achilles Great Again." That is merch that needs making.
Build a wall.
Yeah.
Build a wall.
You imagine the shot back on the sideline, can't you? Build a wall.
Div 1 results. There was only one game in Div 1 from the weekend due to the cup action, and it's Wickham Market collecting a 3-1 victory against Stowe Falcons. So only the one fixture to kind of update in the league table, but it now means that Tattingstone and Wickham are both on 4 games and have won all 4 fixtures. Again, this league really yet to kind of get going in terms of fixtures, but we've got 2 teams on 100%. And the fixtures for the upcoming week, there are none due to the Morrison's Freight Cup, which we're going to be talking about in a moment.
Literally, are Barham actually going to play a game anytime soon, or are they just on holiday?
They
they're in.
They played in the cup, didn't they?
Yeah, they have played a cup game.
Yeah, Barham were in the cup.
So Div 2, we've had Bramford Road Old Boys and Curtin getting postponed. The Ufford and Saxmundham game being abandoned. So the only result from this one is that Thurston collecting a 2-1 victory against Stonham Aspel. A massive, massive victory, which, it can't be underestimated how important that is for them. And this is what that means to the league table. They jump all the way up to 7th place. Yeah. Now, again, I know we've got Elmswell and Curtin who have played less games than them, but that's a huge win, isn't it, Alex?
Yeah, it's that we spoke about last week. It was going to be one of those ones that it's, Thurston were doing great and Stonham were not doing great either. And it was just, a draw would have been, I don't know, from a neutral point of view, you'd have liked it to have been a draw to maybe boost to both sides, but that's going to be a massive boost for Thurston, massive boost for them, putting them that far up the league as well. Hopefully they can just, I say, kick on now, and kind of stay there.
Yeah, definitely.
That is a funny league as well.
Yeah, again, one that really hasn't kind of got going and won't get going because this weekend, again, due to the Moreton Freight Cup, there are no teams involved and no fixtures for the weekend. So Div 3, this is where we can finally start talking about some results on here. So Aldborough 1, Bardwell 6. The Brantford United versus Stage game was abandoned. Great Blakenham 7, Wortham 3, Hope Church 2-2 against Laxfield, Ipswich versus Ockall was abandoned, as Kesgrave Kestrels 4-2 against Unity. Alice, you were kind of nodding along with the Brantford and Stage being abandoned. What's the kind of ins and outs of that, do you know?
As far as I know, Brantford were only 1-0 up.
They were.
They were only 1-0 up at the time. And
they're playing against a 5-5 formation, apparently.
What, from Stage?
Yeah. Stage didn't bother sticking anyone up top, just 2 banks of 5.
So I would have just gone with a flat back 9. No, by the way, to say, I spoke to one of the Stage players, and Stage were playing really well. They were matching them, and it was just a shame that they couldn't have played the game out, because I believe there was about 15-20 minutes left before it was called, because where we had that bit of a downpour. So the ref decided to abandon the game, and that's kind of all I really know about it. But it
right.
I'm not being funny. It shows that Brantford are not unbeatable, even though obviously they were winning at the time. And I know Stage have got a good side. I've said it all along. Mark's got a good side there. He's got some very good players in there. I know it didn't click very well from the start of the season, but it's now starting to click for them, which is brilliant. But just a shame we couldn't have seen that one out, because that would have boosted them massively. Even just to finish at 1-0 against Brantford, where they've just been kind of annihilating teams at the moment, would have been a massive boost anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Follow the trawler. Educate me. BROB. It's Brantford Road Old Boys. Sorry, it's too long to fit on that particular graphic, so I abbreviate it to BROB. A lot of people in the SIL will know who that is on there. So after those results on there, which are some very, very impressive score lines, this is how the league table is currently looking. Again, incredibly tight at the top. You got 3 teams up from 1st to 5th, separated by 3 points. Then there's a bit of a gap, and then there's a bit of a gap again, Adam. Do you know what I mean? It's very similar to what you were talking about earlier. It's to kind of already starting to break up into 3 kind of tiers in this particular division. What do you kind of make of it?
It's just tough, isn't it? Like, especially when you look at the goal difference at the polar ends of the table. Like, there's going to be a lot of goals scored in this league this year. I was speaking to the lads, from a couple of teams at the weekend, and they feel like the league's going all right despite what Brentford are doing. And there is another promotion spot available, and I think anyone that's in those top 7 already will feel like they can put good pressure on that. There's not many games gone in this league again.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with Luke's comment here. Sorry, go on, Alex.
That's all right. Go on, Karen.
I was just going to say, you just don't want them to, with the start they've had, to kind of not say collapse, but do you know what I mean? I just want them to, the win and the performance and stuff like that is bound to come. Do you know what I mean? They've just got to keep plugging away, keep going. And whilst we're still at this early point of the season, hi NFC Jensen. There's still chance to catch up. Do you know what I mean? It's not over by any stretch of the imagination yet. So there's plenty of chance for those guys, to really play, to really get themselves involved in this league.
What happens, Solver, if they finish 14th? It's a relegation from this league, because I actually don't understand how it works.
I no, because I think they'll stay in that division because Division 4. Oh no, they might go. I don't know if they will go down Division 4.
No, I don't think they will because Div 4 is all of the reserve leagues, isn't it? Because then you go from Div 4 up into Intermediate C, Intermediate B, Intermediate A, that kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
You go up into those divisions from Div 4. So I think pretty much if they finish bottom, they finish bottom. I think that's pretty much all it is really from that part.
So perpetually they would just get another crack at it if they did finish in that position and they would carry on.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But the other perspective you've got to look at is that the other new teams that have come in there are doing quite well.
Yeah.
Unity being one of them. They've come in and they're doing quite well.
Great Blakenham as well.
Great Blakenham.
Taking a few games to get adjusted to it, but they've done very well.
AFC Wanderers as well.
Yeah. Again, it's Vinny's saying they will go into Div 4, which is interesting. I need to clarify that, but according to Vinny, they will go into Div 4.
So if you win Div 4,
I was 50-50 about it because I'm sure there's some teams. If you win Div 4 as a reserves, I believe that you go into Inter C. If you win Div 4, and if you win Div 4 as a first team, you then go into Division 3.
Right. A lot of people are now saying you do go into Div 4. So that's.
Thank you. That's me educated.
There you go. It's me educated as well. Quite frankly,
I'm here for.
We've got win Div 4, and you will go into Div 3. Div 4 is a feeder league. There you go. Div 4 should feed Inters and Div 3. Jordan saying, "Don't question Vinny. He knows everything." I'm not going to question.
What the quality of Div 4 is like. If Ulbra have come out of it and then they're struggling.
Well, they're a new team. Ulbra
newly formed, are they?
They're a newly formed team. Yeah, there's been a lot of newly formed teams going into Div 3 this year, and they are one of them. So fixtures for this weekend. Before we get into the Morrison Freight Cup, we've got Bardwell versus Ockhold, Great Blakenham versus Witnesham Wasps, Hope Church versus Bromford United. Good luck to Hope Church in that one. Laxville versus Aldeburgh, Unity versus AFC Wanderers, Wortham versus Stage. Some very good fixtures in there. Let's quickly rattle through these Morrison Freight Cups before we wrap up today's show because we have reached 2-hour mark. We've got Barham versus Curtin, Kesgrave versus Tattingstone, AFC Yorshires versus Bedrick, Stowe Falcons versus Saxmundon, Thurston versus Elmswell. What a tasty derby match that promises to be. Backton versus Wolverstone, Melton versus Coddenham, Wenhastings versus Wickham, Southwall versus Stanton, Grunsborough versus Stonham Aspel, and the three fixtures to round it off: Ipswich versus Ufford, Kesgrave versus Bramford Road Old Boys, and Cockfield versus Ipswich Exiles. Alex, what game are you looking forward to from there? Because there's some tasty fixtures in there. I know the Tattingstone boys are going to be involved in the chat. I don't even need to look into it.
Your shirts, Bedricks looks good.
Yeah.
Let's have a look down. Back to Wolverstone, another one.
Yeah. Melton versus Coddenham looks like a good game.
Yeah. Thurston's at Elmswell, if it's a derby, that always brings out the best in both sides, doesn't it? So
yeah,
that'd be an interesting one as well.
I'm so gutted I'm not available this weekend because that would be my game. Thurston versus Elmswell would be my game.
Yeah.
Sorry?
What are you getting repaired this weekend?
Oh, don't start, Adam. Don't start.
Goodness sake.
Luke is on the revenge mission. Elmswell battered us last time. Dan saying your shirts is a good game, and also the Melton one looks to be a good game. Ricky is saying your shirts versus Bedricks is the pick of the bunch. AFC Yorkshire saying Elmswell are a very, very strong team. There's some good fixtures in amongst all of that. So yeah, very, very, very impressive. I'm looking forward.
So
sorry, Adam.
You got more divisional clashes as well. When Haston playing against Wickham in there, as well as Southwold Stanton. So I said this in my intro to the Bedricks versus Sporting game. Sorry.
Yes, Wickham on form at the moment.
Yeah. I said in my intro video the other day that for the Bedrooms versus Sporting game, you're kind of using this as we want to do well in the cup, but you're using it as a bit of a scouting mission to see what you're going to be playing against later on in the season. So you don't want to see these divisional clashes too early on, but if you're going to play it, you've got to use it to your advantage in both ways. So, it's again, I knew this was going to be coming on. Tat and Son to go through, up for Tat on there as well. There's am I getting my interior mirror fixed again? Dan, don't start. All right. I'm annoyed I'm missing this weekend. All right. I don't need you rubbing it in. I don't need you rubbing it in. But yeah, that is where we're going to round up today's show. I'm going to bring you guys back on the screen. Alex, thank you very much for joining us as always, my mate. It's been good to get your insight throughout the divisions as we go along. Cheers for that one.
No worries.
No worries. I'm going to remove from the screen now. So we've got Adam. Another show, another week's episode kind of wrapped up. We've gone above the 2-hour mark. It's been a good show, and I think again a massive shout out to everybody in the comment section. Your comments have really made the show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been awesome today. Really good.
It's been
heaps of involvement from everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And again, you guys are in the thick of it. You know more than what myself and Adam do, involved in the clubs and the games and what happens to certain matches. You know how it happened, and all these kind of things like that. So this is why we want you to keep getting involved in the comment section. You know the rules and all the kind of stuff that we're still learning, and we're still getting to grips with all of these leagues that we're talking about. So we really, really do appreciate everyone getting involved in the show. But we are going to wrap things up for today. Again, massive shout out to everyone who's a Patreon and also a Ko-fi member on the channel. If you want to help support the channel and get the channel moving and growing as on a continuous basis, links for both of those will be down in the description. If you're watching from a YouTube perspective, if you've got a Gmail account, log in, sign in and subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up, would really, really mean the world. We've recently pushed above 1,400 subscribers, which I am massively grateful for. We're on the road to 1,500, which is just incredible for a channel which talks about Suffolk football. It's mental, and I absolutely love it. So thank you so much to everyone. If you're watching this from a YouTube perspective, retweet it, Facebook, share it, all that kind of stuff. Sorry, Adam, I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, record viewing numbers again on that part of things. I know you say your subscribers are going up, but everyone that's been in tonight has been part of our record audience. I think I'm saying this every week now, but we are growing and the community is going well. I'm thinking about putting together a Discord server. So if anyone knows anything about that or wants to get in touch with me, let me know. And then everyone that's part of the show could get in on a big group chat thing that we could have going all the while. And I think on Saturdays that would
just be chaos. That would be chaos.
But I'd quite like to do that, and it's something that I think we can do to take everything forward and grow the community out a bit, because you can sign up as a member of it and dip in and out as and when you want. And I think we could all have a laugh with it.
Definitely. I like the idea of that. Cheers everyone who's saying their goodbyes on here. Absolutely really, really appreciate it. Good show. Thank you very much, Evan. Really appreciate it. Luke Winchester, good show, lads. Thank you very much. As I said, we are going to wrap things up now. So again, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. I really, really appreciate it. It's been the journey that this channel has gone on recently, and the amount of weeks in a row that we've been doing this live show. I can't thank you guys enough. You've smashed it, and we're having so much fun with this. We really, really are. It's been incredible, and I hopefully we can continue to do this for a long time coming, and football doesn't get cancelled. That's the big thing. Fingers crossed. We just want it to continue. So thank you so much again. All that kind of stuff. But until next time, as always on the channel, adios, guys.